Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of Park Car Conversations. I hope y'all had a good week. Y'all are healthy, y'all doing well. So this week, I actually got my hair cut. I decided it was time to cut off the muley. So now it's just a taper instead of the long muley in the back. So that's probably one of the biggest things that happened this week for me. But it's late. It's a little past 1, so this is probably the rawest that you'll get me at. And today, so somebody last week, I asked if anybody wanted to hear anything in particular, and I think it was something like that, Donna or something, asked about how to heal from a situationship. And I actually appreciate when you actually want to hear things and when you give me some content, something that you guys actually want to hear, right? Because just because I want to talk about it doesn't mean that anybody actually wants to hear it. But when you give me something to talk about, I know that this applies to somebody in particular. And if I can help just one person, then I feel like I did my job. So how to heal from situationships. So first you have to understand that just because it's a situationship, it doesn't mean that you don't heal the same as a relationship. I feel like people will often put a relationship and situationship in a different category when we should place them together. To me, how I define a situationship is it's the exact same thing as a relationship, but without the title, without it being official, right? And you're only not together, you're only not in an actual relationship because of a situation. So I just dissect it as situationship. So just take situation, right? We would be together if, say, we didn't live in different cities, or we'd be together if the person I'm talking to didn't just get out of a long-term relationship. We'd be together if it weren't for a certain situation, right? That's how I think a situationship is. And a lot of the times you get yourself into situationships because you don't define boundaries, or you don't tell them what you want. And when you don't tell people what you want, then there's a lot of like tiptoeing and beating around the bush, right? So this is more how to avoid getting yourself into that situation. How would I avoid situationships, right? When I first talk to somebody, I tell them, hey, this is what I want. I want a serious, committed relationship. I'm in it for the long run. It depends on what you want, right? If you want a serious relationship, then you have to communicate to the person you're talking to early on, because if you don't communicate with them, they don't know what you want. And if they don't know what you want, they'll just assume. They'll say whatever they want is what you want as well, and it won't be as serious, right? And if you think that, hey, if I tell them what I want, if I'm honest, if I'm straight up with the person, then they're gonna get scared away, right? I'm gonna scare them off because I'm coming off too strong. But I think that if somebody really likes you for you and has the same intention as you, then they would love it if you really told them, right? Because most people I know, they don't want to guess, they don't want to assume what the other person wants, what the other person is thinking. So to avoid situationships, I would set early boundaries and early expectations of what I want with this talking stage, right? And not just talking to people and seeing where it goes. Well, like, I understand the whole going with the flow type of mentality, because I'm really like that. I'll deal with things as they come. Whatever comes my way, I'll deal with it. I'm not gonna have everything planned out, but you need to know what you want, right? Because you don't know how to act accordingly if you don't know what you want. If you don't know that you want a serious relationship, then you don't know whether or not what to do in certain situations, right? It's like if I'm talking to someone and they are talking to other people, should I just let them, or should I say, hey, I'm not really comfortable with that. I thought that we were a serious, exclusive thing for now. But if you don't know what you want, then going with the flow will hurt you more than it'll help you, right? Because if you go with the flow and you know what you want, you won't have everything planned, but you know where you want to end up, right? You know the end goal, but to get to the end goal, you're willing to change, and it's not this has to happen in order for us to get there. It's at the end of the day, I know that we're gonna get to that end goal, but I'm open to getting there through a different mean of what I initially expected. So that's how I would just avoid situationships in general. But now you're in a situationship and it's done, it's finished. Say they ghosted you or they found somebody else, right? It doesn't matter to me that it was just a situationship. I would consider it a relationship. You did the same things that people in relationships do. You sent those good morning texts, those good night texts, right? Some of you maybe even said that I love you. But if you need to heal from it, I would say that a situationship you have to treat the same as a relationship, because feelings at the end of the day are feelings. It doesn't matter if there was a label attached to it or not. You still had so much love for that person, and you thought that maybe there would be more for you. And you can say that with a relationship too. You thought that the person you were with, you were gonna marry, right? You thought that there was more in the future for the both of you. It's the same thing as a situationship. So acknowledging, the first step for me, I would acknowledge that what we had, doesn't matter if it wasn't official, doesn't matter if there was no label on it, I still had so much care, so much love for this person. So after that, I would really reflect on the whole thing. Why did I stay in that situationship? And because if you ask yourself why you stayed, you can see what went wrong and why is it that you stayed, right? If you say, I stayed because I wanted somebody to talk to, I stayed because I was lonely, I stayed because I was hopeful, right? If you were too hopeful that something was going to happen, then you weren't really in check with reality. If you were in check with reality, you would know that where this was going, it was never going to end up in a relationship. Or you didn't know what you wanted, so you let the other person control everything, and you just went with it, and it happened to end, right? So just reflect on what happened. Reflect on what went wrong. Why did I end up in that situation in the first place, right? Because for me, healing is looking back and understanding. It's like say you get injured, right? It's like, why did I get injured? Was I not strong enough to handle whatever I was doing? Or was it just an external factor that I couldn't control? Was it somebody just hit me and I got injured? It wasn't really my fault, but somebody else who didn't know how to play the game hit me. Was it just like a freak accident where nobody was at fault and it just happens? Sometimes when it's that, it's just life, right? You're always gonna get hurt in life, and it's just about picking yourself back up. It's yeah, so acknowledging why did I get hurt? And then it depends on the reason why you got hurt, but it's tending to the wound, right? You can't ignore the fact that you got hurt. So you really have to feel those feelings. And you may think that, it's not that serious. It was just a situationship. But remember, you have to treat it like a relationship. So tend to it. Really feel the feelings of hurt. Really let yourself be sad, let yourself cry, and don't just try to hold it in. Don't try to bottle it up, because bottling it up will either eventually lead to you blowing up and hurting people who don't deserve it, hurting yourself when you don't deserve it, or you just lose the ability to ever feel, to ever love again. So I would first acknowledge it, be sad, and then, but you can't stay there for too long, right? It's not bad to fall. It's not bad to make mistakes, but it's bad to stay down. It's bad not to get up. It's bad not to acknowledge those mistakes, and it's bad not to fix those mistakes, right? So acknowledging it and really feeling the pain. And then I would delete them from your life. I would delete the messages, delete their contact, and you can't stay friends with them, because a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, no, like, so say you didn't end on bad terms, it's even harder to move on, right? Because I feel like people will often be like, oh, it's easier to move on when there's some sort of hate, right? I hate you, so I can easily erase you from my life. But it's a lot harder when there's no bad blood. It was a mutual agreement. But it doesn't matter how things ended. It doesn't matter if you're still on good terms. I would still delete them from your life completely. Unfollow them on social media. Delete their number, delete the photos, delete any sign of them. Act like they don't exist anymore. And then spend some time with yourself. Find who you are outside of another person. Do things that you love. Find your passions. Find what you love again. Work on yourself. Do something for yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually every day. Go to the gym, journal, pray, find God, get closer to God. But spend time with you, work on you, and don't go chasing other people again, right? Don't try to fill in that loneliness with another person, because you're just filling that thing that you need with a temporary person, right? You need fulfillment in yourself, but you're trying to find fulfillment in somebody else. And even if you find your forever person, you can't get fulfilled from them. It has to be from you, from yourself. You have to be the source of that fulfillment. Another person can never be that source for you. So spending time with you, spending time with friends, family, people who love you, people who remind you of who you are, right? So take a big step back from those people. Take time if you need the time, but don't take too much time, right? Don't give yourself an excuse to rot in bed all day. Don't say that, hey, my world ended because we didn't work out. You can't live your life like that. And you could say that, hey, I thought that this person was going to be my forever person. Even if it was a situationship, you could see yourself on your deathbed with them beside you. You could see yourself one day with your kids running around and you and them are cooking dinner, right? you saw it all. You looked into their eyes and you saw a future. You saw the whole world. But you can't think that they were the only one for you. There's so much more out there for you, and you have to be willing to take that leap of faith in order to find what you need, not what you're looking for, but what you need, because sometimes what we want isn't what we need. So that wraps it up for the third episode, the healing from situationships. I hope that I could help Donna. I hope that I could help your situation, but if I didn't, please give me some more context, give me some more information so that maybe I could do a better job. But I hope that I could help you, but I don't know what's going on in your life, so I hope everyone's doing well. See y'all in the next one.